What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. Hope everybody enjoyed Monday's vlog where I reviewed Coca-Cola marshmallow soda, zero sugar soda, created by DJ Marshmallow, not marshmallow flavored. I just want to clarify that again. Yeah, so we're gonna get into today's vlog, and today we're going to talk a little bit of wrestling, man. We're gonna talk Death Before Dishonor 2022. That was a Ring of Honor pay-per-view that took place last Saturday night in Lowell, Massachusetts. The second Ring of Honor pay-per-view under the Tony Khan era. And it's very rare. This pay per view, the main card had six matches on it, and five of them were championship matches. So, and that's very rare. For the pre-show, let's go over that real quick. Colt Cabana defeated Anthony Henry. The Shinobi Shadow Squad lost to the Truth Busters. What do you call it? Willow Nightingale defeated Allison Kay, and the Gates of Agony defeated Tony Deppen, Alex Zane, and Blake Christian. I didn't watch the pre-show; I only caught the main show, so that's why I'm going over the pre-show card real quick. But okay, so as for the main show, the first match to kick off the night was actually the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship match between Jonathan Gresham and Claudio Castagnoli, formerly known as Cesaro, in WWE. But it's the story going into this match was the fact that Claudio Castagnoli was a very, very big part of the original inception of Ring of Honor. And he never held the world championship, not only in Ring of Honor but in any company. So any company that he's ever been a part of, he never became a world champion, which is an absolute travesty. And as for Jonathan Gresham, man, Jonathan Gresham is probably one of the best hold for hold wrestlers in the world right now. So it was an intriguing matchup, both on paper and when you're watching it. And Claudio Castagnoli pulled out the win and became the new Ring of Honor World Champion. So congratulations to him. And next up, you had the Ring of Honor six-man tag team championships on the line. It was Dalton Castle and the boys versus the Righteous. Vincent and his crew. I'm not too sure of the other guys' names because I didn't watch Ring of Honor toward the end of before it went on hiatus. But Dalton Castle and the boys ended up picking up the win in there and getting the six-man tag team championships. This is actually Dalton Castle's second reign as a Ring of Honor six-man tag team champion. So congratulations to Dalton Castle and the boys. So in match number 3, you had Roosh of the Andrade family office. He was brought into AEW by Andrade, and he's also part of the Los Ingobernables, the original stable, not the New Japan subset. So it was him taking on his brother, real life brother, Dragon Lee, in an absolute. I enjoyed it. It was fun. People might say, "Oh, it was a boring match," but no, it was very good. Roosh played the heel role very well, and just when you thought that Roosh had changed his ways, he kind of suckered him in, and Rush got the win over his younger brother, Dragon Lee. So definitely a very good match for them. And then you have the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Now, the Pure Championship it was a championship in the original Ring of Honor where you kind of had to. It's a championship meant to showcase your wrestling skills. Your mat skills. No closed fists. No closed fists. No. You get a certain amount of rope breaks and all of that. So you really, really have to know how to wrestle to hold that championship. And Daniel Garcia, who's a hell of a wrestler, representing the Jericho Appreciation Society, and you also had Wheeler Yuta representing the Blackpool Combat Club. It was a hell of a night for the Blackpool Combat Club. They went about 20 minutes, and Wheeler Yuta actually ended up picking up the win in that match. He offered the code of honor to Daniel Garcia at the end of the match, but Daniel Garcia wasn't having it and flipped him off and just went out of the ring. So that was that. And then you have the Ring of Honor 6-man, not 6-man, Ring of Honor women's World Championship on the line. It was Serena Deeb taking on Mercedes Martinez. Very, very good match. Serena Deeb is a very, very good technical wrestler. They don't call her the professor for nothing. I really enjoy watching her work, and Mercedes Martinez, I've always been a fan of hers. Big girl, big tough girl, but can definitely wrestle on the mat. She's very, very good. They had a very, very good match as expected. So yeah, major props to Mercedes Martinez for retaining the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. And just one quick note on that, man. The first time that these two tangled in Ring of Honor, there was no women's division. They were just coming in and just wrestling. There was no actual division or no title to signify that Ring of Honor had a great women's division. But over the years, Ring of Honor has built a great women's division, and I hope to see more of the Ring of Honor women's division showcased under Tony Khan's umbrella. So major props to them. Semi-main event, the next up was the Ring of Honor Television Championship on the line. Jay Lethal taking on Samoa Joe, and this one was 20 years in the making, a hell of a grudge match. Jay Lethal brought it to Samoa Joe, and vice versa, and despite everything that Jay Lethal tried to do, from attacking Samoa Joe on the outside and doing most of his damage before the bell rang, and then continuing it back and forth, Samoa Joe was able to hit him with the Coquina Clutch and pick up the win by submission. So major props to Samoa Joe for retaining the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. And speaking of Jay Lethal, he has a huge match next weekend. He's part of the main event in Ric Flair's last match. It'll be him and Jeff Jarrett taking on Andrade and Ric Flair. If you haven't been following that story, definitely go to RicFlairsLastMatch.com and follow that story. That is also an intriguing story. And in the main event, probably the one that most people bought the pay-per-view for and were looking forward most to seeing, the rematch, 2 out of 3 falls for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, FTR and the Briscoes. It wasn't as good as the first one, I will say that. Maybe because it was 2 out of 3 falls, but boy did these guys deliver. It was not a bad match in any sense of the word. It was very tough to say a bad word about it, but for me it wasn't as good as the first one. When you have 2 out of 3 falls, it's kind of tough to figure out innovative stuff to do to keep the crowd going. But it dragged at times, but you know what? It was still a great match in in every sense, man. It's still a match of the year candidate in my eyes, man. The Briscoes ended up getting the first fall. Uh, the second fall went to FTR, and then the third and deciding fall, man, it was back and forth, but FTR managed to pull out the win, and it was almost an hour long. They went almost the entire last hour of the pay-per-view. So major props to those guys, man. And I hope that we get one last match between those two somewhere down the line from the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, because man, they just deliver it time after time. And Dax Harwood cut a very impassioned promo on Dynamite Wednesday night. He said he was fighting for his 8-year-old daughter that had a heart murmur, and that kind of hit close to home for me, because as a child I also had a heart murmur. So major props to Dax Harwood, man, and they fought. All four men fought their asses off and left it all in the ring, and that's what you want every time you go out there. You want to leave it in the ring and leave no doubt. And FTR is definitely the absolute best tag team right now, and they're getting in the conversation for one of the greatest tag teams of all time, man. So major props to FTR. And at the end of the pay-per-view, Wheeler Yuta and the Blackpool and Cesaro came out, and we might get a showdown in the future between those two. So let's see what happens. Other than that, man, it was a solid pay-per-view. It was a very, very solid pay-per-view. I'm glad to. I can't wait to see what direction Ring of Honor goes in from here. But as for the pay-per-view, man, it was very, very solid. And looking forward to their next outing. Hopefully they get a weekly TV deal, because that would be cool to see everybody every week. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for today's vlog. Like, subscribe, and share, and hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.